There's a question I never asked him. Not because I forgot, but because I knew the moment I asked it, everything would end too soon. And I needed him to stay unfinished. My name is Maya Collins, and this isn't a story about anger. It's about patience, the kind that hurts more than revenge ever could. I used to believe closure was necessary. That answers healed you. That truth set you free. I was wrong. Some questions don't free you, they trap you. And I learned that the night my life stopped making sense. I was 28 when I married Daniel Harper. He was charming in a calm way. The kind of man people trusted without asking why. He spoke softly, listened carefully, and never raised his voice. My friends adored him. My parents relaxed around him. He felt safe. I didn't notice how often he finished my sentences. How often he corrected my memories. How subtly he rewrote moments until I doubted myself. That's how it starts. Quietly. The first crack appeared during our 3rd year of marriage. I found an email on his laptop. Not romantic. Not explicit. Just a message that ended with, "She still doesn't suspect anything." No name. No context. Just a sentence that refused to explain itself. I remember staring at it, my mind desperate to complete the story. I wanted to scroll. To dig. To confront him. But something stopped me. Because once you know everything, the story ends. And I wasn't ready for the ending. That night I almost asked him. He was brushing his teeth. I stood in the doorway, holding the laptop, my heart screaming a single unfinished question. Who is she? But I didn't say it. I just said, "Did you have a good day?" He smiled. Said yes. And kissed my forehead. The question stayed trapped inside me. And my mind never let it go. Over the next few months I noticed patterns. Phone calls taken outside. Business trips that didn't add up. Moments where he looked at me like he was measuring something, not loving it. So I said nothing. Because uncertainty is powerful. The Zeigarnik Effect, the mind's obsession with incomplete information, began to work for me. While he thought he was in control, my silence became a mirror. Then came the betrayal. Not emotional. Financial. I discovered he had transferred money from our joint account into a private investment. Under his name only. He used my savings. My inheritance. When I confronted him, gently, he laughed. He said, "You worry too much. Trust me." And I did something unexpected. I apologized. That moment confused him more than anger ever could. People think revenge begins with confrontation. It doesn't. It begins with observation. I started paying attention to how Daniel needed validation. How he thrived on admiration. How deeply he feared being exposed as ordinary. And then I found the truth. Daniel wasn't cheating with another woman. He was laundering money. And I was the perfect cover. I still didn't ask the question. Instead I became smaller. Quieter. More agreeable. I let him underestimate me. And that's where his story began to unravel. I started learning. Quietly. About shell companies. About financial compliance. About how people like Daniel get caught. Not through accusation but through patterns. I documented everything. Not to confront him. To wait. Every night, I lay beside him with that same unfinished question echoing in my mind. How far are you willing to go? The opportunity came when Daniel decided to run for a senior position at his firm. Background checks. Audits. Scrutiny. He was nervous. I comforted him. I held his hand while his lies began collapsing under their own weight. So I said nothing. Weeks later, an anonymous tip reached the compliance department. Not an accusation. Just a question. One he couldn't easily answer. Investigations followed. Fully. Methodically. Quietly. Just like my revenge. The night they froze his accounts, he finally asked me something. He said, "Did you know?" I looked at him, paused, and said, "Know what?" That pause, that unfinished moment, broke him. Because now he was the one trapped in uncertainty. Daniel lost everything. His position. His reputation. His sense of control. And when he begged me for answers, for closure, I refused. I filed for divorce without explanation. I never asked my question. I never needed to. People ask me if I regret not confronting him sooner. Well, because revenge isn't about answers. It's about who controls the ending. And the question I never asked lives with him now. Unfinished. Unanswered. Unescapable. Final line, perfect for YouTube ending. Some stories don't need an ending, they just need the right person to stay unfinished.